Now in today's video, we're going to be taking a look at the brand new Sony 1000 XM5s. These are their brand new true wireless earbuds. And we're going to compare them to the predecessor, the XM4s. We're going to do an EBPMAN style audio test, call quality test. We're going to go over the features and you're going to see why these are worth the upgrade. Let's go ahead and check it out. Now, the first thing we're going to do is talk about the specs. And there are a lot of specs to consider. Take a look at the various ways to calculate the hours of usage that you're going to get out of these. One of the things just to highlight is that you're going to get anywhere from 8 to 24 hours of usage with the case. And the battery life is going to vary based on what you have on. For example, noise canceling on, noise canceling off. Also, are you listening to music or are you using it to make phone calls? So rest assured, 8 to 24. One of the cool things that you're going to get out of these is that in 3 minutes, you're going to get 1 hour of battery life. That's spectacular. Now, 8.5 millimeter drivers, going to give you fantastic audio. And let's face it, Sony has done an amazing job when it comes to audio reproduction. And we're going to hear that shortly when we listen to the audio test. Now, keep in mind that these are going to have all the goodness that you expect from Sony. It has 360 audio, has great bass, mids and highs, all that stuff is present. So we'll hear more of that in a bit. Now, they also have ambient noise capabilities, which means you're going to be able to hear everything that's around you. They are multi-point, which means you can have them connected to two devices at the same time. And if let's say, for example, you have this connected to a tablet or a laptop and your phone, and a phone call comes in, it will switch seamlessly to the other. Now, they do have 6 mics for active noise canceling, and it has 2 processors that's going to be combating or listening and processing what it hears to give you the best audio experience. And I have to say that if you're used to taking cans on a plane, you won't need to do that anymore with these. They sound spectacular when it comes to the active noise canceling. Now, the other thing that it does have is AI noise reduction for calls, and it has a bone conduction function also that is going to enhance the audio quality. We're going to see how well they do in our EBPMAN style call quality test. Now, just like the other Sonys, these have speak-to-chat capabilities. So what ends up happening is if you're listening to music or you have active noise canceling on and you speak, they will automatically go into transparency mode so that you can hear what's going on around you and have that conversation. Now, this is going to have high-resolution audio as well. So again, 360 audio, spatial audio, sounds amazing, but you have to make sure that you have the apps that will support this. Qi charging, Bluetooth 5.1, all the codecs that you would expect to see, right? SBC, AAC, LDAC, LC3, and they're IPX4 rated. Now in the box, you're going to have your Sony earbuds, which you see right here. You'll also then have a set of ear tips. Now, one of the things that you'll be able to do with the Sony app is actually test the fit. And it's doing something that I've never seen before from any other app. What it will do is you put them in your ear and you're able to test them. But then if you don't find the right fit, it will ask you to wear or select 2 earbud types. So if you see right here, we have small, we have a large, we have also a super small. It will basically say, what do you want to compare? Medium and large, small and medium. And then it will basically ask you to put those tips on your earbuds and put them in your ear and it'll go through a test. And it's going to tell you which of the 2 are better for your ears to give you the right active noise canceling. Because let's face it, sometimes I get comments where the audio or let's say the noise canceling isn't as great as you would expect based on our tests. Well, it really comes down to the fit and it comes down to the ear tips that you're using. And let's face it, our ears are all different. So the cool thing about their app is that it will do a comparison between the 2 ear tips and then give you the best one. Never seen that before. Now the earbuds, as we take a look at them, you'll see right here, have changed somewhat. And we're going to bring in the traditional Sony ones. We'll take a look at the cases. So first of all, this case does support wireless charging. I'm going to pull out a wireless charger so you can see that, and we'll power this up. So we'll have this up. And then you can see how it automatically lit up. That means that it's wireless charging, right? So wireless charging is present. You have USB-C on the back. You also then have a Bluetooth pairing button, right? This does have the auto pairing feature that's going to work in Android, and this is also going to be iPhone compatible. So if you have an iPhone, you should be fine there. It's compact. If you compare it to the previous one, take a look at this. So you can see the differences. Slightly thinner, right? But thin enough. These are extremely pocketable. So if you're going to have them in your jeans, front pocket, back pocket, they'll be fine. Notice what it looks like here. So from a length perspective, it's also slightly shorter, but not by much. right? And from a weight perspective, they're very similar almost in weight. Now the earbuds themselves, as we take a look at them, the earbuds in the case will guide. They're auto guiding, and then also they won't come out because they're magnetic. And when you close it, you get a satisfying snap. We'll take the earbuds out for a second, and we'll compare them to the previous gen. And as we look at these, a lot larger is the first thing that you'll notice. But I'd say they have very similar design language attributes. So you'll notice that they kind of cap this little access point here that you have here with these, but there is a significant difference in size. Take a look at that. Look at the difference. And with that comes a difference in weight too. So they're not as heavy too. So they feel extremely, extremely good. So you see what they look like, the difference there? So let's go ahead and put these back. And again, we're going to do a comparison between the two of these. Right? So we're going to have the audio test compared between two. Let me show you how these look. And what I'll do is, you know what, we'll put in the Sony one also in our ear so you can see what it looks like. So first of all, this is what they look like in my ears. And I'm going to turn to the right. And I'm going to turn to the left. Right? And I'm going to look straight ahead. Right? They're relatively low profile. They do come in two colors, so you can have one in black and also in white. And this is what they would look like. Now, to give you a sense of what the older version looked like, so you can see how much larger they are, I'm going to go ahead and put this one in. Look at the difference. Big difference, isn't it? Let's go this way. Let's go this way. Pretty significant difference. Now, one of the cool things about these also, the new ones, is that they have gesture capabilities. And you're going to see that in the app. So when you have these on, and I'm going to lock them into place because you put them in and you need twist so you can see what they look like. But what you could do is you could answer and reject calls simply with nodding your head. And you go through a little test where if you go like this, it will answer the call. If you go like this, it rejects it. It's awesome. So really nice feature. Love that utility. Now, what about the audio on these? Bass, mids, and highs, present. They're Sony's. What can I say? If you're watching, any kind of show and you're looking for bass to be present, you're going to have it. Mids and highs are there. Separation of music. It's immersive. They really did justice to these. They're following the Sony line. When you put these on, you're going to know that they're Sony. Active noise canceling also is really good. And the cool thing is that right now I'm speaking, and since I'm speaking, I can actually hear myself, and hopefully I'm not speaking too loud. But passive noise canceling is there, especially if you have the right tips, which I went through the test. And then when you start speaking, it will basically switch to the active or ambient noise so that you can hear what's going on as I'm speaking right now. I can hear myself. But as soon as I stay quiet, it takes about less than 10 seconds. I'm going to stay quiet and I'll tell you when it kicks off. All right, so it took a little bit, and it took around 7 seconds in my case, based on how I have them adjusted for the actual sound to kick in. So once again, that's one of the things that you'll be able to do. Just takes a couple seconds for it to kick in again, but it's going to be great if you are, let's say, on a plane, someone comes up to you, you'll be able to speak, and then you'll be able to hear them as well. So what we're going to do next is we're going to go into our call and audio test. But what we're going to do this time is I'm going to go through the Sony XM5s, we're going to do the test, and we're going to do them on the XM4 so you can see how much has improved. Let's get right to it.
You look at me like I'm crazy when I shut my feelings out. You look at me like I'm different, still you stay cause you feel something real. Get so lost in my moments, doesn't mean I don't need you. I fell in love with your colors, they kinda tell me what I'm thinking. I fell in love with the way we when I shut my feelings out. You look at me like I'm different, still you stay cause you feel something real. real. Get so lost in my moments. Doesn't mean I don't need you. I fell in love with your colors. They kinda tell me what I'm thinking. I fell in love with the way we are and the way we lose it. There's something different.
Now next we're going to do a call quality test of the Sony 1000XM5s in a quiet environment. If we take a look at our decibel readings, around 26 decibels in noise. It's going to switch. Now, this is what the Sony 1000XM5s are going to sound like in a quiet environment. This is a test, 1, 2, 3. This is our test. Let's add some wind to the environment. Now, this is what the Sony 1000XM5s will sound like with wind in the environment. This is a test, 1, 2, 3. This is our test. Now we're adding a lot more noise to the environment. As you can see here, our decibel readings are anywhere between 37 and 76 decibels in noise. What we're going to do is we're going to stay quiet and let the XM5s see how much we cancel out. Then we're going to continue with the vocal test. Let's go ahead and switch. Now this is what the Sony 1000XM5s would sound like in a noisy environment. This is a test, 1, 2, 3. This is a test. Now, if you're wondering what the Sony XM5s would sound like with an infant crying in the background, well, this is what they're going to sound like with an infant crying in the background. Now, if you're wondering what they sound like with a dog barking in the background, well, this is what they're going to sound like with the dog barking in the background. Now, if you're wondering what they're going to sound like with the doorbell ringing in the background, well, this is what they're going to sound like with the doorbell ringing. Now, next we're going to do a call quality test of the Sony 1000XM4s in a quiet environment. If you take a look at our decibel readings, and around the same amount of decimal readings as before, what we're going to do is switch. This is what the Sony 1000XM4 sound like in a quiet environment. This is a test, 1, 2, 3. This is our test. Next, let's add some wind. Now, this is what the Sony 1000XM4 sound like with wind in the environment. This is a test, 1, 2, 3. This is our test. Now we've added a lot more noise to the environment, and we're going to test and see how well the Sony 1000XM4s do. So you can see here anywhere between 40 to 79 decibels in noise. Let's go and switch. Now, this is what the Sony 1000XM4s are going to sound like in a noisy environment. This is a test, 1, 2, 3. This is our test. Now, if you're wondering what the Sony 1000XM4s sound like with an infant crying in the background, well, this is what they sound like with an infant crying in the background. Now, if you're wondering what they sound like with the dog barking in the background, well, this is what they sound like with the dog barking. Now, if you're wondering what the Sony would sound like with the doorbell ringing in the background, this is what the XM4s sound like with the doorbell ringing. So, guys, the question is, are the Sony 1000XM5s worth the upgrade? In my experience, they absolutely are. See you in the next video.